Hello, Dad. This is Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast, and today's topic is this: living by a code. Let's do it.
Hi, my name's Nico, and you're listening to my dad, Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast. Thanks for listening. Pretty good. Now can we listen to it?
Yep. All right. So this topic, living by a code, is something that I want to share with you as a dad because it's made a huge difference for me. And I'm going to be doing this over a series of episodes. So today I'm just going to be talking about generally the 4 principles of this code, where it came from, what it's done for me. And then in the next episodes, I'll go into each part of the code a little more in detail so you understand it. Now, the code that I now live by and do my best to live by sounds kind of dramatic that I live by a code, but it works. And the 4 principles of it are being real, raw, relevant, and looking at your results. So it's 4 R's. And I got this from being a part of a group called Men of Iron. I've been doing it for the last year. It's a men's support group. It's a group of guys, it's men only, that are forged in a group, and we do weekly accountability calls. We set 90-day targets in each of the 4 areas of life, and we keep each other accountable on it. And then once a quarter, we all get together for an experiential weekend, and these weekends have been up in Victoria, Canada. Dr. Ed Osborne is the one who's started up and began the Men of Iron movement. I've been learning these things from him, and Men of Iron as a group is, quote, powered by Warrior. And Warrior is a movement created by Garrett J. White. He wrote a book, the Warrior Book. He has intensive programs as well, teaching these things, the code, the core 4, the keys, all these things that I may start sharing with you as well, because it made a huge difference for me. It's just, I don't do things with Garrett. I'm doing things with Ed and the Men of Iron group. And as the years progressed, I've started leading in that and helping teach these kind of things. And I want to teach it to you guys as well. So, living by a code. As a dad, we often get derailed. There's tons of honey-do lists. There's tons of fires that get put out. You've got work responsibilities, home responsibilities, kid responsibilities, and we can get derailed and get off center and get off track because life just is crazy that way. But what I've come to incorporate in this code is it really is grounding, and it sets me straight. So in each of the components of the code, it builds on each other, and it helps me just be a better person, a better man, a better partner, a better dad. And the way it works is this. So again, I said the 4 components of the code is to be real, to be raw, to make it relevant, and to look at your results. So it's real, raw, relevant results. And the first one, real, is just being completely honest with yourself and with others. Mostly ourselves, right? We obviously want to be honest with everyone else, but a lot of times we're just not real about what's going on, whether that's, say, for me in business, just like what's working, what's not working. Usually we want to just kind of hide away from what's not working, and that is the same for, your bank account. Being real about it is just looking like, how much do I have there? How much do I have in savings? What are my expenses? Am I meeting them? Am I saving what I want to save? Am I hitting the targets that I say that I want to? And there's no emotion around that. It's just, what's the real about it? The same is true for your relationship. Like, are things kicking with my spouse? Am I connected with my kids or not? Where are the areas that you're not? Where are the areas that you are? And just being really real about it. Just saying what is. And then the next component is getting raw. And the raw is something that we guys typically don't do well, and that's the emotional component of it. Just getting really raw about how you feel about what's real. So the first part is just the facts, no emotion, just what is. And then the next step into it is, how do you feel about that? How do you feel when you look at your bank account? How do you feel when things are going the way that they are inside family, whether it's with your spouse or with your kids? Like, are you excited about that? Is it awesome? Are you shouting for joy, or are you pissed? Are you angered? Are you feeling belittled? Whatever it might be, that's the real or the raw part that we as guys just don't do as well. And I am definitely a victim of that. Something that I do not do as well is, I display really positive emotions really well, but I tend to hide what's not working. And when we hide those real emotions and those raw emotions, we tend to isolate ourselves and sedate ourselves. And that's a recipe for disaster. So once we've gotten raw about how we really feel about it, then it's time to look at the relevance of it. So one is relevant instead of just, saying, all right, this is what's going on and this is how I feel about it and I'm pissed and I'm angry and just blah, 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 spewing and venting and not making it relevant and saying, why is this important to me? Why is it important that this feeling I have about it change? Is it because it's important to me and I want to move it forward and I want to make improvements and do the work that's necessary to do that? Or is it just something I was pissed about and now that I vented it, it's done? So making it relevant is also your focus, right? So if it's relevant to you and it's important to your family and it's important to your business or your health or to you, then you need to do the work to close the gap of where you're at, the real, and where you want to go. So the next component as far as the results is, if it's relevant and it's important to you, then you need to look at what results is it giving you, the way that you've been doing things. Is it what you want or not want? And usually those things we're pissed about are things that we don't want. So then when we make the action steps, and we'll talk about the ways of doing that too, we look to see, is it producing the results we want? If so, keep doing what you're doing, put more momentum towards it, more energy towards it, and you'll get more of that result. Or if it's not producing the result you want, you got to course correct and you got to change it. So as far as, a lot of the work that I've been doing over the last year of being more real with myself about what's going on, being really raw about it and understanding how much parts of my life have hurt me and are hurting. So I've been seeking to make changes and making them relevant and focusing up, looking at my results are, part of this podcast comes about that, is just really being so happy about being a parent, but also having so many struggles. And I see that with so many dads that I just wanted to share the reels of like, this is what really goes on and help and support, because that's something that's really important to me. So with each of those components, you get a level of clarity, and then the real work starts then when you see what's not working for you and you want to make a change, and then you do the work. So that's an overview of living by that code, that when a challenge is going on, you can look and say, all right, what's really going on? How do I really feel about that? Is it relevant? Is it something that's important to me, or is it just something that pissed me off and I can let it go and move on? And then if it is important, what are the results it's giving you, and where do you want to get going? And then you have that as your course correction if it's giving you the results you want. So as far as being a dad, it's not just your relationship with your kiddo, although that's super important. You can apply each of those principles to it. But then as a dad and a provider, or is your work life, your business life doing what you want it to do? In your relationship with your spouse, is that where you want it to be? In your health, are you as healthy as you want to be, and that you can be, especially for your legacy of growing your kids healthy and being there in a really healthy way for your kids? All those things are relevant. So this is the overview. I'm going to dive deeper into next episodes of each of those components, but think about that. How can you be more real? How can you express being raw? And you don't have to do that with others. You can do that yourself. There's internal processes that work for that. And then, is it relevant? And what are the results you're getting? And is that what you want? So this series of episodes will go deeper, as I said, and put your comments in the post that I put up in the group, and let's explore this together, because it's made a huge difference for me over this last year, and I know it'll create even more results for me in the next years ahead of me, and I hope to teach to my kid as well, because it's been so great. But hopefully it can help you now in whatever area of life that you're having challenges in. All right, so we'll connect next time. Oh, and if you want to learn more about the Men of Iron and the code and the core and the keys, you can go to my website at drjwarren.com/Men of Iron, and it'll forward you on to that information or the links in the show notes. Thanks.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. You can hang out with other dads in our Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for the Dadhood Journey, and apply to get in. See you there, and see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Perfect.
There you go, Dan.